Hi guys, this video is a basic overview of Logic's really cool native drum machine Ultrabeat, how it's used, a basic overview to its functionality and to its sequencer. The first thing that you'll want to do is to select a new instance of Logic Pro X, select software instruments, and if you've got the details tab selected, scroll down on your instruments drop down to find the Ultrabeat drum machine. For today we're going to use it as a stereo output. The multi-output can be really useful as well, and will be covered in a later video. Create your track at this point, and you'll see in the inspector tab that can be triggered by an eye, Ultrabeat, the instrument will be loaded in blue. If you click the middle of the Ultrabeat drum machine engine will appear, and this is the first new screen that you'll kind of see. I'll talk you through it left to right. Down the left hand side you will have a drum kit loaded, or you'll perhaps have empty samples at this point as well. In the middle section is the synth engine that has created each of these sounds, or the sampler engine that is manipulating the sounds. And down the bottom you have Ultrabeat's sequencer. Now Ultrabeat's sequencer can be seen in a little more depth using the full view tab, which turns the instrument around, and you see a step sequencer from left to right over 32 steps, a 32-step sequencer. A really important function of Ultrabeat can be seen just down here in the bottom left, pattern and drag to arrange window. Now this small toggle can do a lot of quite powerful things, so we're going to come back to that later. Firstly, how we select a drum machine or drum kit within this drum machine. Go up to where it says factory default at the top, your drop down menu, and here we're going to see a variety of preset drum kits that are native to Logic, drum kits and drum banks. We can select a few of these just to see how they sound, and pick one that's going to be most appropriate for the style of music that you want to be creating. So I'm going to click Boutique SP12 and have a listen to how this sounds. If I want to quickly scroll between presets, I can use the left and right arrows at the top bar. And I'll stick on the one that I like to use. Another really cool tip within the Ultrabeat, or what I didn't previously mention, is on the left hand side of the synth engine. This also operates as a mixer, so all of the relative volumes of these individual instruments can be adjusted with using a left-right slider. You can also mute or solo an instrument, or pan it to the left or to the right of your headphones or speakers, depending on what you're using. You can hear the sounds by pressing on the keyboard at the far left, and you can swap them out if you wish to. There's two basic ways that we can sequence using the Ultrabeat. We can go straight to the full view, and we can sequence live here on this with a kind of Etch-a-Sketch model. And you'll notice every time that a new hit gets put in, the step sequencer down the bottom of the screen changes. It shows you at the moment two pieces of information, well, three pieces of information really. It tells you whether the note's being played and on what step that note's being played. We can take the note off the steps from here, or it also tells us the velocity of each hit that's being played. So if we're concentrating on the cabassa, we can make it the first hit with quite a lot of velocity, so quite a strong hit, the second one quite a weak hit, and vice versa on those second 4 hits, and see how that changes the sound. So it adds a lot more expression into the piece. We can also gate these hits so they play for a shorter and sharper amount of time, or alternatively play for a longer period of time. Now I'm not sure if this is going to work particularly well with the capacitor because it's quite a short hit in itself. So perhaps lengthening a gate is going to work a lot better with a longer sound, which we don't seem to have on this kit. Have a listen now. So quite a sharp sound we've got there. The next stage that we will need to go through with the Ultrabeat is how to get our sequences, or the sequences that we write in Ultrabeat sequencer, into Logic, and that is where this pattern menu comes in handy. If we hover over just here on the Logic next to the word pattern, it'll say drag to arrange window, and this is where we're going to drag it from the Ultrabeat and see the MIDI notes within Logic's arrange window. So we'll drag, simply drag and drop, and we can now hear our sound within Logic's arrangement window. There is one sort of proviso, or something to be careful of here when you're doing this and when you're taking your rhythms and your beats into Logic, is that you turn off the sequencer from within Ultrabeat. It's something that I often forget to do, but if you're writing a second variation on your beat and you're adding sort of a lot more notes or variations in any kind of way, and you play in Logic that first rhythm, you're going to hear the variation from within Ultrabeat as well as the beat that you have dragged into Logic's arrangement window. So if we take the beats that we want, turn off the sequencer, we should be able to hear them back to back with no overlap. And this is a really cool tool. It means that you can create, say, 4 or 5 different parts for a song or arrangement that you're working on. You can loop around the parts that you want to loop around to sort of lengthen out in the song. You can obviously copy and paste them next to each other. Dive into the MIDI information on one of them, and it's got all of your individual drum hits on the left hand side of the piano roll as well, so we can alter them from here. If you've got your pencil tool selected as your secondary instrument, you can click hold command and pencil in different notes from there, so it makes it a lot more customizable for rolls. And that really concludes our basic overview of Ultrabeat and the Ultrabeat sequencer. It's a really cool tool. Check it out and give it a go.